Fala galera, bem-vindos a mais um vídeo do canal, eu sou o Zek. E agora vamos continuar com Tangle Tower, o terceiro vídeo da série. Me fala aí o que vocês estão achando da série, o que eu posso fazer para melhorar. Deixa aquela sua crítica construtiva aqui para o canal melhorar. E também me segue nas minhas redes sociais aqui em cima. Então, sem mais enrolação, roda a vinheta e bora pro vídeo. Vamos falar com ele agora, falar sobre ele mesmo.
So, Felix, what exactly
Devia
do
ter
you...
começado a série gravando com som óculos.
Is it not obvious? I'm an explorer. Explorer / treasure hunter. Yes, well, best in the world.
We're talking like curse statues, spike pits.
It's a little more sophisticated than that. But I've certainly seen my share of danger, if that's what you're asking.
And, if I may ask, when did you retire?
You listen here. I may be between ventures right now, but it's simply not in my nature to stay in one place for too long. I go wherever the winds of destiny take me.
Don't you live here with your wife and daughter?
Yes, well, the Fellow family has certain loyalties, and with Flora the way she is...
Nothing wrong with raising a family, Mr. Fellow.
Don't misunderstand me. Fiona and Flora are my entire world. They are the greatest treasure of all.
Uh-huh.
Fala sobre ontem.
Why on earth would you want to know about that?
The murder of Freya Fellow. The reason we're here?
Não é?
Ah, right. Nasty business. Very unfortunate. I regret that I can't be of any help, but I wish you all the best in your investigation.
Hear that, Grimoire? We're done here. Let's go.
It's a simple question, Felix. I'm sure you're up to it.
Well, there's not much to tell. Mostly, I was in my room by myself, working on Flora's, working on a project.
Todo mundo
Your room is
suspeita
quite
aqui
close to
também,
Flora's
né?
tower. You didn't hear anything unusual?
What qualifies as unusual?
What have you got?
Ok, dá seu depoimento de
It
uma
was
vez.
dusk. A feeling lingered in the air. Malevolent, perhaps. Uncertain as life itself.
Abridged version, please.
Right.
Obrigado.
Fine. I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room. The footsteps were calm, orderly, so I thought nothing of it. Shortly afterward, I heard a second set of footsteps, going the same way. This time I could tell just from the sound that something was wrong. So I looked out into the hallway. I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing down the staircase to the floor below. Didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I thought perhaps she'd had a disagreement with Fitz, as I know those two are close. So I looked into his room, just in case. It
Fofoqueiro.
was empty, as was the garden beyond his window. Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her. We went into Flora's room. Poor Freya was laying on the floor. Fiona, Poppy, Fitz, and Pointer were there already. Flora, too, of course. Soon enough, everyone else made their excuses and left.
Including you?
Not I. I stayed. Flora needed me.
Ok, vamos perguntar sobre os objetos.
That looks like it might belong to Fitz. I've never seen that before. Looks valuable. Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of expertise. I'm as confused as you are. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. That looks like it might belong to Fitz.
Does Flora normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Bom, errado não
Rules
tá.
to live by.
That looks like it might belong to Poppy. I've never been one for music. Why not ask Poppy instead? What's this all about? Some kind of rare
Ele não
jewel?
sabe de nada que tá
I'm pretty
acontecendo.
sure the research is about a real insect.
If it's made of gold, then it's made of gold. Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, yes, less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Tá, né?
Yes, it is rather, isn't it? Oh dear.
Do you know who this is?
Not a clue. Goodness me! It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the
Ouais.
circumstances.
Ah, yes. So we shall. It would have been a beautiful painting. It's rather a shame Freya was unable to finish it.
Nothing about it seems strange to you.
Well, all these modern paintings are slightly strange, aren't they? The emotion of the piece taking over from, say, anatomical accuracy.
What about the knife in Flora's hand?
A knife? That's what you see?
You don't?
Well, as I was saying, Freya's artistic approach distorts certain shapes.
Bom, pode ser
Hard to say
verdade.
exactly what we're looking at.
Isso pode não ser uma faca.
Now, this is still in very good condition, apart from the crack, of course.
What about those shards on the inside of the horn?
Looks like somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence. Cunning. Bizarre things, aren't they?
Looks bizarre.
Penelope seems rather attached to them.
Do you not feel sorry for them in that little cage?
Come now, I'm sure they could leave if they really wanted to. Flora's quite fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape, though.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do.
Ele não sabe nada.
Rather ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been kind to it either.
Do you know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall.
Ah,
What's this?
It's my case file. It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
só fica mais estranho falar sobre as pessoas.
Poppy's a good friend to my daughter. Always has been. I think they get on well because they're so different.
Different, like how?
Poppy is, she's quite introspective, good with feelings. Fiona, not so much. Still, Poppy always seems to be sulking about something.
The heavy, heavy price of emotional intelligence.
You're the one currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Tá, né?
Let's move on.
Percival Pointer. Good old... So, what do you reckon? Is he the murderer?
I don't know, maybe. We still need...
That is not information we're willing to share at this time.
I'm
Deu uma
just
de rock
saying,
agora, né?
keep an eye on him. Holds on to a lot of bitterness, does old Pointer. Just because he's always struggled to support his family. Slightly pathetic, really.
And how long have you known him?
Over 35 years.
Childhood friends? Rivals?
Don't know if I'd do him the honor of considering him my rival. Quite the character, eh? A fellow member of the Order of the Crimson Cloak.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just meant because we both wear, you know, red capes of a sort.
Has she questioned you yet?
If you call that questioning, she seemed bored by everything I had to say. I heard on the grapevine, supposedly Hawkshaw is searching for some rare item, something called the Golden Beetle. Honestly, it's probably a bunch of sensationalist rubbish.
You reckon?
Quite sure. There is no treasure called the Golden Beetle.
How do you know?
Because I would have heard of it.
Tá, né?
Dearest Flora, a remarkable woman. Oh, yes. Been married over 20 years now.
You two still get on?
Of course. What a question.
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak. She's had it her whole life. She's the youngest of 3. Always something of a lone wolf, you know? Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
Bem isso.
She just likes time to herself, away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Well, yes, other people, you know.
Que estranho.
Fitz? I don't trust him. He's slippery. Never commits to anything. Brain like an onion.
An onion?
Nossa.
Did you two have an argument?
Oh, no, but my daughter doesn't like him at all. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. She's a very vigilant young woman. Penelope seems to have really settled into a groove. She struggled a bit when she was younger. Always a little estranged.
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle, and he really only makes time for his own daughter. Now, of course, she's bringing the two families together through her marriage. It's a nice gesture, heartfelt, but futile. Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was so much more than her talent. She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially after,
Aqui o ódio, o pessoal não fala
How
tudo
are you
direito.
related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens. My father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes her a fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all. There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a
Eu vou dar
look
uma
at
olhada
it.
nisso depois.
What about her inheritance?
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at Tangle Tower.
Tadinho. Acho que já falamos o suficiente com ele.
Nice. A real treasure chest.
How do you know there's treasure in there?
Why else would it be locked? Plus, there's a treasure map hanging directly above it. What's the
Outro
deal with that
puzzle.
painting on the front?
Not sure. We should check that treasure map too.
Então, se não foi aquele, provavelmente
I did it.
foi.
What do I win?
Not bad. What was in the box?
More wooden models. These are a little different to the one on the desk.
Que estranho. Um pote de tinta
A little
vermelha.
hand-painted statue.
How can you tell it's hand-painted?
Well, the paints are right there on the desk. Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
A tinta vermelha daquela outra é bem parecido com os potes de tinta da Freya. Vamos vir aqui embaixo. Que estranho.
Is that a snow globe?
Of sorts. And look at that. It's a model of Tangle Tower. There's the lake and those weird mountains. What are you thinking?
That would make an amazing souvenir.
Tem como pegar, não?
Hey, look at that. It's a model. What are you...
That would make
Tem aqui no
a
quarto.
chalkboard.
Is this a library or a classroom?
Que? Tô entendendo nada. Bota aquele meme da
Any idea what this
Nazaré.
means?
Not a clue.
I'm not sure I learned anything from that.
Também não. Vamos falar com ela, vamos.
Curious. I would expect bacteria of that nature to thrive in these conditions.
Excuse me.
Taking all the environmental factors into account, there must be something I am still missing.
May I talk to you, miss?
Tá me ignorando?
She knows we're here. She just doesn't care.
I am a detective.
You do not need to talk to me.
Oh no? How come?
Because I am not a suspect. I am completely innocent of any and all
Tá
crimes.
bom, vou acreditar em
Thanks for
você.
letting me know.
Speaking of which, you have now been at Tangle Tower for over 23 minutes. Surely you have already reached a sturdy hypothesis.
A hypothesis about the murder?
Yeah, come on, Grimoire, hurry up.
My apologies. Unfortunately, protocol dictates I must at least meet all the suspects. And that includes you. So, could you tell me your name?
Pequeno erro aqui, né, gente? Sempre acontece. Vamos lá, fala sobre Flora.
Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 44. Profession, unknown. Likes, unknown. Dislikes, unknown.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know anything?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond.
Então tá, né?
That belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs.
É.
The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless. Unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends
On what?
on the structural integrity of your teeth. A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint.
Hã? Ok, fala sobre você mesmo.
Name, Fiona Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
And what about Freya? How are you related to her?
We share exactly one grandparent.
Você.
You will need to be more specific. Oneself cannot be summarized in a single response without doing one a great disservice.
So true.
Well, first of all, you're a fellow. So does that make you the daughter of...
Correct. My father and mother are named Flora and Felix, but you need not question either of them. It will only waste valuable time. Neither of them are capable of murder.
Thanks for the tip.
Fifi, you said you were a micro... something or other?
Microbiologist, but it is an insignificant label. My studies cannot be categorized in any one recognized field.
What made you want to become a scientist in the first place?
I harbor an intrinsic fascination with the microscopic. I constructed my first one at age 10.
Constructed a microscope?
Correct.
And what's that thing on your head? Did you make that too?
My eyesight began to deteriorate when I turned 12. Not satisfied with the eyeglasses prescribed to me, I designed this custom lens instead. It automatically adjusts based on the surrounding light conditions.
Does it glow red when you get angry?
No, but that would be most amusing.
Fala sobre.
Name, Hotshot. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard. Name, Penelope Pointer. Age, 27. Profession, ornithologist. Likes, birds. Dislikes, insects. Notes, Penelope is very beautiful. I have never had very much in common with her. Name, Fellow. Age, 24. Profession, cryptobotanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on.
Tá, né?
Cryptobotanist? I thought he was just a gardener.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just barely 5.
So what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking up Pointer Tower. He was making every effort to avoid detection.
So?
He was also carrying a knife.
Hã?
Name, Poppy Pointer.
Carregando uma
Age,
faca.
19. Profession, Apparently Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me.
Que estranho, cara. Mostrar as coisas pra ela.
What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
Must be worth a fortune.
Why do you ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her.
Who is that?
Por que ela tá
in the photo?
rindo?
I'm quite sure that I have no idea. Curious. That blade.
It's a troll for
Lâmina?
gardening.
It is. Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object?
Nossa,
Next. Now this is interesting.
que bom que você
Where did you
gostou,
find
né?
it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study
Nossa.
science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe, living or inanimate.
Tá, né?
Is she
Ela tá
laughing?
rindo, mano.
I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable explanation.
Oh.
Tá, né?
You test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A whole pot
Que
full of blood?
sinistro.
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but
Nossa.
still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
Tá, né?
I require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell.
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene,
Apart from the one in the painting.
which as a mere abstract representation does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife.
Realmente não é a pintura, viu, gente? Vou até
Freya
perguntar
is
dela.
normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is
Tá, né?
holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was
Nossa,
overly viscous.
inteligente, ó.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course. This belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
No, I don't think so.
Who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
Telescópio?
It's a telescope.
Oh, yes. It has a telescopic lens. It can only be used for looking at things that are far away.
Isso não é um microscópio?
It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya?
Estranho.
An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for her.
Why's that?
No idea. She has never graced me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
É,
We are,
gente.
yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired of my company.
is it anything to do with Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere.
Ok, vamos falar da
This
fita.
belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right, but why?
Ué?
I do not know why. The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp.
Ninguém
Have
sabe
you
resolver
deciphered their
isso.
meaning yet?
We're working on it.
We are.
The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is
Tá, a
blood.
gente já entendeu essa
Same for the
parte.
palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
Que estranho.
I do not know the answer. Why did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be? It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot say what. The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I believe she gave it to my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it
Gente, o
exactly.
que será que aconteceu
All I
que tudo
know
ficou
is
rachado?
that it must have happened sometime in the last 2 days.
Próximas pessoas, vamos lá.
Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became 1. Increasingly independent, and 2. Increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. 1 scientist, 1 artist, and 1 musician.
Nossa.
Sounds like quite a team.
Ok, fala do seu
Name,
pai.
Felix Fellow. Age, 53. Profession, none. Likes, collecting objects of negligible monetary value and assigning them personal value. Dislikes, the inescapable realities of human existence. Notes, Felix is my father and legal guardian.
And, is he a good dad?
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
No? Why not?
You asked me a binary question. Do not get upset that I provided one of the 2 possible answers.
What makes him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions, and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct.
Ah, né? Fala sobre ontem.
What can you tell me about the murder?
What can you tell me about... Wait, that's what I'm supposed to ask you.
Yes, however, you were too slow.
You fancy yourself a detective too,
É,
Fifi?
tá se achando
I just
detetive, né?
need to know what happened.
Me too. So talk.
Fine. I knew ahead of time that Freya was going to be busy with her painting all day, so I had planned to spend the afternoon with Poppy. I was in the library all morning preparing the equipment for an experiment, only to find out that Poppy had made other plans and she was in fact planning to ignore me completely.
Gente,
Oh.
So what did you do instead?
I locked myself in my room and cried.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
I don't know, it just sounds kind of sad.
um pouquinho,
It
né?
is not unusual.
Oh. Good.
Dá logo seu depoimento.
I was in my room. The lights were off and the door was locked. Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me. I opened the door. Poppy came into my room. Her makeup was leaking. She told me Freya was dead. I did not believe it. I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
Gente,
She insisted that we go up to Flora's tower. We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs. When I saw Freya lying on the floor, I was completely and utterly devastated. Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting. Poppy and I took the sample back downstairs to the library. We performed a test and found out that it was, in fact, blood.
You performed that scientific test immediately, even though you were feeling so upset?
Of course. Why would one affect the other?
concordo. Bom, já pegamos tudo dela.
There's something about Hawkshaw's handheld microscope.
Que não é um
Something
microscópio.
suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
Não vai ser agora.
That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all.
Vamos revisar agora tudo que a gente conseguiu pegar até agora.
That's all the statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Acho que não, tudo
Fitz
encaixou
and I were up in the
direitinho.
moonlight garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. So I made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do. So I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs. Just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the Fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the Fellow Tower.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her.
Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A minute later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya.
Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the
Tudo
library.
batendo.
We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
That's disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
Exato.
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other.
Será que foi todo mundo? Porque tá muito certo. Enfim, antes de finalizar o vídeo, vamos neste quarto aqui. Que é o quarto da Fifi.
A new suspect! Don't think you can get out being questioned just because you're a bear.
I'm innocent, I promise!
Save it for the judge.
Nossa.
A pretty ornate window with a great view of the lake.
We're supposed to be looking for clues, not assessing the real estate value.
Tá bom, né?
And over here, you'll see the owners use sheets of paper to block out all that unnecessary natural light. A simple trick, but it really transforms the space. It's a magnifying glass. A big one.
How come you don't have one of those?
Why? Because I'm a detective?
A gente vai arrumar uma luta
Should I
aqui
start
também.
smoking a pipe too?
E um
You
cachimbo,
can
quem
blow a
sabe?
pipe.
Quem sabe no final da série. O que é isso aqui?
It looks like a microscope. A big one.
Can I touch it?
Puzzle!
I'm not sure this is a microscope.
Depois de muita luta, eu acho que é isso aqui.
No, that was it.
Nossa,
Nice
graças a
work.
Deus, troço difícil. Não era
Sounds like an
difícil, mas
unlock.
Yeah.
eu demorei
It's built
pouquinho.
on top of a little metal box. There's a book in here.
Um livro bastante usado, parece um diário. Encontra-se trancado com um dispositivo estranho de metal. É um diário, né, gente? Obviamente.
Fifi's got something pinned up here.
What is all this?
Outro puzzle?
Looks like Professor Pointer. And that's you, Sally.
What? I do not look like that, do I?
Is that supposed to be me? Why do I look so angry?
That's just the face you make when you're thinking. Does make you wonder, though. When did Fifi draw all this?
Exato. A gente acabou de chegar
Did you
aqui.
notice who isn't on here?
Freya?
Mm-hmm. And Fifi herself.
Ela não ia fazer isso.
Crystal chandeliers. Extra fancy.
I don't know. They just seem old-fashioned to me. Plus, they're kinda dusty.
What's that big book on the desk?
Looks like something Fifi's been writing.
Is it a clue?
I hope not. It's just a bunch of notes about her microbiology experiments.
Enfim, vamos no último quarto antes de fechar o vídeo. Que é o quarto da Freya, né? Que é o último quarto que sobrou.
That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming over your bed like that?
É.
Maybe Freya enjoyed the atmosphere it creates.
The atmosphere of chaos and oppression?
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph.
Uma pequena fotografia da pintura abstrata de Freya. Um pedaço de fita adesiva está grudado nela. Linhas foram desenhadas com tinta preta ao longo das margens. Que estranho. A caixinha de besouros dela.
Weird.
Será que o besouro dourado tá aqui?
What did you find in the drawers?
Nothing. They're completely empty.
Não, eu quero isso aqui.
It's a little glass box.
I think it's a vivarium.
Come again?
See the leaves and twigs in there? Might have been for keeping insects.
A pillow with a paw print pattern.
It's a cushion.
Yeah, but that doesn't alliterate.
Esse quarto é estranho, olha isso.
Do you think this was always supposed to be a bedroom?
Não.
I don't know. It is kind of a weird shape.
No windows either. Brushes, pencils.
They're clean, but they look pretty well used.
Será que
It's
não
a
vai
little
ter
wooden
nada
box.
aqui,
To
não?
the casual observer, maybe.
Tô sentindo cheiro de puzzle, hein?
They're not real paintbrushes. Looks like they're part of some kind of lock mechanism.
Tá, vamos nós. Tem que montar isso aqui, né?
Paper. It looks like a ripped up jigsaw puzzle.
Vamos tentar agora.
That's done it.
Pronto.
Neat. What was in the box?
Just a photograph. Well, most of a photograph.
Foto rasgada. Uma foto de duas jovens, uma com cabelo vermelho, outra com cabelo verde. A foto tem um grande pedaço faltando, parece ter sido rasgada. É a Pop. Essa daqui é a Fifi, a outra é a Freya, é a Pop.
There's something about that pink cassette tape. Something suspicious.
Let's ask Poppy about it.
Enfim, gente, vamos ficando por aqui. Acho que já tem coisa suficiente agora, né? E é isso, galera. Se vocês estiverem gostando do conteúdo, deixa aquele like, se inscreve no canal, deixa um comentário com uma crítica construtiva aqui, fala de quem é o seu maior suspeito até agora. E é isso, galera. Muito obrigado pelo carinho. Me segue nas redes sociais, que elas estão aqui em cima. Eu tô seguindo todo mundo de volta e eu também tô assistindo algumas lives na Twitch para dar um apoio pra galera que tá começando assim como eu. Então é isso aí, galera. Até a próxima.